This is day 2 on the East Highland Way. I was deeply grateful for the conditions, the sunny evening and the beautiful camp spot and the beautiful morning that I had. Walking out of the Glenshesk Valley, not knowing exactly where I would end up. Turned out to be an epic 20-miler. Little did I know at that time that's what would happen, but I was hoping to get to the Trosks, which overlook Carnlough. That was a kind of hope. I didn't think I would actually make it, but you will get to see the adventure I had trying to get there. Welcome to the Irish East Highland Way. Day 2. Blessed be. This is amazing. There was one that almost sounded like strange man, strange man. Oh, this is glorious walking. It's glorious. Look at that. Do not despair. You can cross it into the darkness. So just because it's the right way, it doesn't mean it's the dry way. See, look, and I got some rumpy pumpy in the woods. Time to get naked. There's another hiker, oh my god. This place is getting inundated. Remember, it's about the battle, not the bottle. Oh, I so need those needle worms. The wind is blowing a hurley up here on top of Trosks, or not quite on top. When the going gets shit, keep her lit. I can invest in future me to a certain point, but there's a certain point at which it's like future me can go fuck himself. Morning. Welcome to day 2 in the Irish East Highland Way. Waking up in the Glenshesk Valley. It's super sunny and beautiful. Although there are these wind bombs that roll up the valley. It's like somebody's 10-pin bowling with big balls of wind. And then dawn chorus kicked off at 20 past 4 and went on for like almost an hour. Then when that died down, then the cuckoo started. So actually I didn't get much sleep at all until actually the sun was up. And then I just enjoyed lying. It was actually comfortable. So I was like just lay there and dozed in and out of sleep for an hour or two. Attempting to heat up leftover noodles from last night just to get a bit of heat in and make them slightly more palatable. Charging up the drone. Maybe try and get a wee shots of the valley. Adam's quilt of thoughts on that. I'll tell you about them later. And now I've got this to contend with. And I used to bring a wee scrubber thing with me. My cook kit, and I haven't been bringing it for a long time. So I'm just going to have to boil up some water and try and scrape that off. Oh, maybe with the end of this fork. Maybe I'll do that. So had my noodles, scraped my pot as best I could. My wee spot here is in the shade. It's sunny absolutely everywhere else. So it's still quite chilly in that shade where the tent is. But I've made coffee and I thought not quite often, like I just pack up and start moving straight away and end up not just enjoying being in these places. So instead of rushing on and just getting the march on, I'm like, no, I'm going to stay here, coffee and a smoke, and enjoy like this glorious morning. Like they got winds coming through. I also know because I've got no connection to internet signal, I've got no idea what the weather's doing, if it's changing, if the wind's going to pick up. None of that. And it's quite liberating. I don't have any control over it. I just have to relax into it. So yep, coffee's made, sun is shining. Blessed be. Wow. I couldn't have imagined having weather like this. Lucked out. Where someone's looking after me. coffee time. This is amazing. Glenshesk River, sun on my face, coffee. Oh, wow. I guess much the sound of the river did keep me up last night, but it's beautiful whenever you don't want to sleep. But if you do want to sleep, it may not help you sleep. But it is so nice. Let the river flow. So, I'm going to take the waterproof socks off. Shoes are drier, which if they were waterproof, they would not be dry at all. So there's dried a wee bit, enough that I'm just going to put on keep my liner socks on and take these waterproof ones off. Another issue is some of the waterproof socks are thick, and then that affects the fit as well, and you can end up having pressure on your feet that you don't want. So I'm going to get those off, and if I really need them in the boggy bits later on, then I'll do that. But I might just go with the wet feet, dry them off, and it's easy enough walking in wet feet for a day, or a few hours anyway. Get these on. And the harder part's going to be, because it still feels there's that cold wind. It's coming, northeasterly wind coming, and I'm in the shade here, but I need to get out of all these warm layers, because as soon as I start walking, it's going to be, I'll be in the sunshine over there, and it's the wind will be on my back, and yeah, so I'm just going to have to trust that and de-rig, get down, yeah, like put my walking t-shirt on, and it's going to be cool, uncomfortable for a wee second or two. Oh, so nearly packed up. It's windy enough that I've got one peg still in, before I take the poles out and the fly sheet doesn't blow away. Some items are critical to this adventure. That'll be one of them. Sometimes you see all that amount of gear and you're like, how the hell is that all going to fit in that rucksack? So there was a bit of condensation in the tent, and I'm not going to wait long enough for it to dry off, but that's all part for the course. But I've got it in that wee bag. It's great, the inner and outer all just go together, stuff it in that on the outside of the pack. Nothing else gets wet from it. That's me nearly ready to go. I doubt I'll be able to use the drone with that wind, which I'm a bit gutted about, because I'd love to get amazing footage of some of these beautiful places, but you can only do what you can do. I got some more water there, so I'll carry that with me. Locked and loaded, ready to go. Far too many layers on, but I know there are layers I can stash in my bag easily. So more importantly, no trace left. Don't be a dick. Bring home whatever you're bringing with you. Take it out. Leave this place sacred. And just as I said, I remembered I need to start tracking this. Now I would totally have started walking and forgot about that, as I'm not used to it. Right, I'll do that. I'm glad I remembered. Look at that. Dear Lord, bless this journey, and bless these feet, and the land upon which they walk, and restore this land to the McQuillans. Actually scrub that, we all know how that can pan out. I knew this would happen. Where I was camping was like in the shade, and it was a bit more exposed maybe to that wind, which was a cold wind, so my feet are still cold. As soon as I get in the sun, it is boiling. So I will not be long before I'm taking off most of these layers. Oh wow, this is glorious, and I'm looking forward to walking this wee track up to the Alta Richard Road. That's been lovely. So many birds, a lot of bird calls I don't even recognise. There was one that almost sounded like strange man, strange man. There's the sign. There's a grave in the background. You can see the wee yellow new edition marker. But yeah, if you see this sign, you'll have to do a river crossing. There's one of the wee birds, stone chat. I can hear it. Where are you? It's a wee upland bird, upland coastal bird. So yeah, amazing bird life. Like there's recognisable ones like robins and song thrush, blackbird, cuckoo, which there's a novelty of hearing it and you're like, oh my god, cuckoo, and then it just, you get sick of it. There's that repetitive call. It's a bit like the chiff chaff as well when it comes in. You're sure so happy to hear it and then you're like, I'm done with it already. Funny how these sheep saw me earlier on and just moved off. It's like they're not used to seeing people, it seems. It's okay, come back, ages. I'm running like fuck. I think I'm gonna tackle with them horns. Oh, this is glorious walking. Glorious. So, this is day 2 on the Irish East Highland Way. And what a nice start to it. Both just having that campsite, Glenshesk. Having this as a beautiful trail to walk on at the beginning, get you warmed up. And just the weather, incredible. The scenery. And most of the times I've been here, it's been stinky. So this is fantastic to see it in all its glory. Look at that for a scene. The old ruined building, beautiful tree, beside a river. Gorgeous. Be aware this path, like, even though it's been super dry, there's like quite wet, and that's on a good day. So I've been here on bad days and it is stinking. So either wear your waterproof boots or bring your waterproof socks or learn to live with wet feet. But it's so nice having full water bottle from the Glenshesk River, more in my bag, just knowing I've got that. Having the poles already out, ready to go. It's ready for day 2. I'm believing that I have what it takes to complete day 2. Whatever that actually looks like, I don't even know where it's going to end. But my brief desire is to make it to the Trosks, which are 2 hills just in behind Carnlough, which would then mean in the morning having a nice easy descent down into Carnlough to resupply. They've got public toilets, cafes, all that stuff. So that'll be cool. We'll see what happens. Play it by ear. Wing it. It's amazing. You can see that trail I came down last night on the edge of the forest. It just runs right down there. It's pretty steep. Glad I don't have to go up that this morning. Last time I was there, camped there, I had to go back up that in the stinky weather. It was not enjoyable. Right, I'm gonna have to de-rig. De-rigged. Just base layer, t-shirt on, wee mesh hoodie, and then a wee super lightweight waterproof jacket. Super lightweight waterproof jacket. I normally recommend walking in stuff that's not waterproof, but this is so thin, it's crazy. So I'm experimenting with it, because sometimes I'm bringing this, I'm a wee windproof, so if I can just bring this, be able to ditch the other. It's glorious. Look at that. Amazing. So good, so good. And up ahead, got a roadblock. They're sizing me up. But, jeez, they could totally take me on. Afraid of them. Not the other way around. And I think is that they just got off the trail and went up in the... They're determined to stay on the path. Right, this is quagmire. Actually, it looks like somebody's taking a wee bypass over here. It might work. Maybe. So far, so good. Where somebody did this, got to this point and went, no, that was not great. Yeah, that is stinking there. I'm just going to brave it and I don't want to detour too much and end up probably the similar situation, but it's just get through it. I see, I wasn't too bad actually. Hop skip. There's definitely other options for camping further along the river. My spot was absolutely gorgeous. Like, as far as beauty goes, it was just perfect. But being so close to the river, it was quite noisy, whereas you just get a wee bit away from it. Like, for example, something like over there, we would just take the edge of it. And also, where I was in the shade, so I didn't get the glory of that sunshine in the morning. It was cold. Whereas if I was slightly further up the river, it would have been in the sunshine and been warmed up pretty quick. So there are other options there, definitely, further along here. Okay, it's a bit more dramatic. How the hell? It's a flipping lake, pond, loads of wee water boatmen on it, having the time of their lives. Buggy jet skiing. Party. Drinking beers by the pond. That's obviously a permanent fixture. People have put wee rocks to the left hand side of it, so it was actually a breeze. And I've got my poles out, and they are good for stability when you're walking over wee stepping stony type things, especially improvised stepping stony type things. So that was actually a breeze. So do not despair, you can cross it. And there's another massive, hopefully it's been modified. And now I need to look at the map. I can see to the left, or sorry, to the right, there's a post. So I'm obviously not going up to the left here, I'm going to the right. I'll just double check with the map, but that certainly looks like an Ulster Way, Moyle Way marker. Right, let's see if I can get through here without wet feet. We're having to swim. Right, totally wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to have to go there, but it's directing down a ways, back down into Wee Valley. Well, I can see another marker over there. Yeah, cool. Wee river crossing with pallets. Classy. Does the job. Apologies, they obviously spent big money and put in a concrete bridge. Must have been the last time I spent money on this. Having said that, the way marking is pretty spot on so far. There's only one missing. They need to employ me as the trail marker, looker after, promoter of trails. So this one could be misinterpreted because there's like a trail going up that direction, and the way that arrow is, it might be suggestive of going up a wee bit, but I'm pretty sure it is straight down there to the riverside. I'll let you know when I find out. Yeah. Very quickly I've decided that is not the trail, but I reckon it's the other one, so that it does go uphill. And I think the reason why it's probably worn at the other side where I came is probably because other people have thought exactly the same. Or there could have been an original trail that went up here. Welcome to the Irish East Highland Way. Day 2. So I just arrived at the top of that wee incline up the forest, and there's the marker. So you could go up by the fence, but it looked far too overgrown. Having said that, what I was coming up was a knee breaker. I say knee breaker just because my knee doesn't take much at the minute to get tweaked, and I could feel it already. And then going all up, it's quite undulating, and in wet weather that would be a mudslide. I've looked out, like it's just, even the things that are wet and squidgy are far, far, far less wet and squidgy than they would be otherwise. Where to next? Into the woods. Into the darkness. It's glorious. Sometimes the clouds come and cover the sun, and it absolutely changes the atmosphere. And then it comes back out again. It's absolutely heaven. And this wee short section along the edge of the woodland, and then there's a stile here to cross. Gorgeous, gorgeous scenery. So that last way marker is directing into the forest, and it's actually along a fire break. Right up here, there's a post right in the middle up there. So into the darkness, but what a view from here. Oh, so good. Just looks like vast forest. And I imagine that's not laid in the back. Oh, it's great. The end of the shade is going to be quite cool in here, I imagine. But this layer system's good because it gets a wee bit cool. Just put my hoods up, and don't feel like I need to take off layers that often, which is great. I might need to get my gloves on. So the main trail is up the middle here, squelchy. So just because it's the right way, it doesn't mean it's the dry way. Now there is, you can see it, where people have gone to the edges a little bit, and you can sort of make out wee trails where people have navigated around the worst bits. But it looks like there's a mountain bike trail just in the woods, so you might prefer that. I was on it for a while, but it's actually there's a lot of roots, and some of it got really sort of angled, and I thought that would wreck my knee more, so I'm sticking to the squelchier middle section of this. So I've never done this bit before, because when I did the Moyle Way, I missed out all this, like Glenshesk Valley in this. So the trail does continue straight through on ahead. That tree's come down at some point, so I just need to navigate my way around that and then continue on straight. There's another cracker. This the marker post is directing you to go through there, but looks like all these fallen trees have been down long enough that you can see, like that last one, if you could see to your left, there was a wee trail that people have, like a wee desire line, and the same has happened over here on the right of this one. So I imagine that's the best way to get through. Looks like there's going to be a wee bit of ducking and diving, all part of the adventure on the Irish East Highland Way. And you emerge after the little obstacle course there, which you may want to take your rucksack off for, depending on what size rucksack you have, but it was tricky enough. But yeah, you come out onto this absolute tree carnage, like the apocalypse. There's a wee cuckoo calling. Devastation. I crossed slightly earlier on there. You actually follow along here and cross over, because if you do it where I cross, you miss the signpost, which is here. And I was about to start making my way through the tree cemetery, which is an absolute ankle knee breaker. So I sort of sense as I started into it, it was like, this is one, not good for me, and it's also not likely to be the trail. So yes, luckily there's a marker there. So yeah, if you do come out of the forest, go through that obstacle with the fallen trees, turn to your left, but make your way further along the little brook, and then come up this way, find a marker, and continue on your trail. Happy days. Time to get naked. It's windy and the wind's cold. So yeah, out of the forest, and basically you're on this gravel track. This takes you around the bend and onto the Alta Richard Road. And I can see cars, and it's weird, I almost feel like seeing civilization. It's nice to be out of even though this isn't lovely underfoot terrain, but it's nice to be out of the squelch for a bit. Nice. It'd be so weird seeing this territory that I've been to before, but like last time I was here was in pitch black darkness. 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock. So there's a trail off to the left there. I guessed it was straight on. And the post is there, but it's very discreet, let's just say, surrounded by reeds. So don't go up the one to the left, just keep going straight along here to where you see the cars, if there are cars driving. There's the keep on going. Oh, I'm having flashbacks. You can see the road and where that car is coming.
And that's the road I walked along in the pitch black, like 10 o'clock at night. Couldn't find a place to camp in Breen Forest or through the Crowan Way, and then we ended up following this wee uphill country road for hours in the dark. And I can see now where I remember passing this entrance to this bit. Always get it right in the end sometimes. God, like the amount of mistakes I've made, but then I wouldn't have learned if it wasn't for the mistakes. So in some ways I have to be thankful for the mistakes and the mishaps and the getting waylaid to learn the lessons. Away. Slieve na Ora coming up. So I just finished that trail. Takes me onto the Alta Richard Road. This road here. And we're going that way. Right, E-road section. It's better than doing it in the pitch black, although there weren't as many cars at that time of night. But it was a wee bit sketchy then whenever I turned up at Breen Forest and there was somebody there, one car. And I was like, ooh. See, looking to get some rumpy pumpy in the woods. Luckily he wasn't. Or he didn't like a look at me. Nice. The most violets I've seen along here than anywhere, I think. Beautiful. So I have to be honest, as much as there's loads of little violets along here, and it's nice in general, this is the kind of road that people drive along and throw shit out the windows. Even noticed somebody had dumped a load of old tyres. So yeah, and it's too much to start picking it up. I'm sure a lot of it's been here for years and has accumulated, but it's unfortunate. But just preparing you for what you might encounter. Very quiet road. One car went past so far, and it'll probably be the only car. I'm gonna get down to a little bridge here, Carnlough Bridge, and that's where the turning up into Slieve na Ora Forest. So Slieve na Ora is the newer, sort of probably anglicised version of Slieve na Ora. So essentially, so the Battle of Ora was the battle at 1583. Some dates are a bit skew with 1550s and all, but most people are saying it's like 1583. And the battle to try and oust the MacDonalds who had infiltrated from the Isles of Scotland, and the alliance with the O'Neills to do that. And at the time, actually, like, it's funny, the English were trying to intervene and sort of ally with certain clans that they thought were useful to them and manipulate all that. So actually initially the O'Neills were doing the job of the Queen, who didn't like the MacDonalds and thought they were too powerful or a potential threat. So Shane O'Neill essentially was doing the work of the Queen. To a point he was doing his own work too, but it was useful for the English crown. But they fail. And basically the McQuillans, are that force that attacked the MacDonalds at Bonamargy to reclaim it and try and reclaim their lands. And then the battle sort of stretched back through the Glenshesk and essentially some of the hard places I've walked in, and it ended up, that's why you've got that grave in the Glenshesk Valley. But the main battle that's defeated the McQuillans and was the Battle of Ora, which was fought up on top of here. And the other mountain I'll hopefully do in today is called Trosks, and that is where the victors held a celebration and marked it with a stone or a cairn in celebration of their victory and the defeat of the McQuillans. Sad times. Just saw a bird of prey flying in there. across the road. Probably a buzzard. I always wonder what on earth these things are here. But they put it at the entrances, there's like no marking, no sign, no nothing. But having said that, they are useful for sticking your bag down and having a wee break, refilling your water bottle. There she is, buzzard. Beaut. Thank you. Class. Playing in the wind. Right, that's where I'll be going. At least in daylight, and it's only like 8 minutes past 12. Fantastic. Not 10 o'clock at night. That's probably a bad idea. That tripod fell over 3 times and have cracked hopefully just the screen protector each time that it fell. I could have brought that heavier tripod and it might have, but it is windy enough that I think it just catches the camera and then it's like a sail, just pulls it over. But the other one is much sturdier, but like 400 grams, not having it. Sun's gone a bit behind clouds and it's cold when the sun goes. It is like a whole different, feels like winter. So I'm going to keep this. I was sweating a bit too much maybe, but I've got plenty of water, stay hydrated anyhow, and I'm going to keep this wee waterproof, super lightweight waterproof on, and then get hiking to get the heat back. Oh, I feel it in my back. The rucksack on. Another forest favourite, the wooden enemy. Coming out of the actual forest. A couple of wee steepish ascents, but nothing I've had to get the poles out for. Although I do think I'm actually getting fitter. Like, what? Who knew? So you come out and enter the kind of access road, tarmac, up to the top of Slievenora. It looks like steep going from here. I can't believe I did that at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. In the dark before, after walking from Ballycastle. Crazy. I can see a painted lady butterfly, but I very much doubt I'll get it on video. They're very flitty on the dandelions. Come on. Yeah, this is a trail. There, it takes you up over here, which means it's not as steep actually, so that's pretty good. And then there's a mast, nasty mast over there. Cool, won't be long till we're in the top of Slievenora. Incredible views behind me. Probably been more incredible from the top. I'm near the top. But it's like looking out over Knocklade. I can see Ailsa Craig. Over Kintyre, I can hear cuckoo again. I think that might be Teve Bulla over there. That's Teve Bulla there, where they have porcelainite, one of the few places in the world that has porcelainite, and it was used to make axes and it was transported all across Europe. That's a Craig over there. This is all like Kintyre and Hebrides and all. Right, not long to the top here. Crazy. And that last time I was coming up here, I was doing it with like walking poles. Like walking poles have saved my life. I've used them way less in the past couple of days than I expected. So I do feel like I'm getting a wee bit fitter. This is amazing for the summer's adventures, whatever they may be. So top of Slievenora, there's a memorial here. There's a B-17, I think it was, it crashed on the side of here. What I'm amazed at is they're actually survivors. Incredible. You can pause that if you want to reread. So another side quest, if you fancy it, is the grave of Hugh McPhelan O'Neill, who died in that battle, who was an ally with the McQuillans. His grave marker is here somewhere. Side quest for you if you want to go do it. Yeah, the map and GPS are saying it's that direction there. Probably near the wall or the fence. There's a couple of other hikers came up here. You are not alone. You're not the only weirdo.
Alright,
There we go. Just met Jim and he'd actually seen my wee gear loadout video for the Irish East Highland Way.
Alright,
Give him some support. Awesome, Jim. Nice to meet you, mate.
Cheers, bud. Take care.
Yes, you take a look after yourself. That was amazing. The chances of somebody had even seen that video and and the first time I've actually got to say I'm walking to Belfast. Right, here's a wee way marker. Just walked past this ugly mast, and I can see again that the terrain's opened up again, and I can see Slamish looking. Slamish just looks different from every angle. Just never looks the same from anywhere. Right. I'm just going to check a map. There's looks like a marker post over there behind me, which is where I went and camped the last time. But this seems to be saying here, so. But I might go over there because I think it looks down over Ora Beg, Little Ora, which is where the battle took place, and that's where they're wiped out my clan in the bogs. Yeah, there's the summit cairn of Slievenna Ora. And this is basically like one of the few spots you could possibly camp at. It's really rocky as well, but you could do it. It is doable. I'm just going to get this wee rise up here and see if I can look down over Ora Beg. Beg meaning little. Oh, that wind is cold, cuts through you. Oh. Yeah, I think Ora Beg is just down lower off this summit. I can imagine that's where like the McDonald's rained down on top of the O'Neills and the McQuillans to finish them off. But again, my knee being the way it is, I'm happy to let these side quests, you can do them for me. Whenever you come to do the Irish East Highland Way. It is chilly. Right, back onto the track. So yes, on that fateful occasion, not the Battle of Ora, although I had my own Battle of Ora. Remember, it's about the battle, not the bottle. I forgot that lesson. And this is whenever I finished that walk from Ballycastle. Had an epic day, but it was like a tough day. But I'd brought whiskey with me, and in those days I couldn't even have thought of actually coming into the outdoors without bringing some alcohol of some sort with me. It was like, it was guaranteed to be part of my pack list. Right, there's a wee, if you follow that tarmac over the top past the wee mast, and then you'll see a marker taking you off onto the trail to the left. And it does, I know this part was super boggy last time. Takes you into like Slievenna or a forest or something. But yeah, so I ended up drinking a fair whack of whiskey, and then ended up hungover, super dehydrated the next day, and made that next day horrendous. And I'm just so thankful, like I look back, I was just so thankful that I now actually was looking forward to coming out for these days and like not drinking, just having a break from it and just getting high in nature and not needing that and knowing that I don't need it. Like it's no longer my packing list. It's just
absolutely fantastic to be freed from that to a degree, or that part of it anyway. So yeah, I was saying the gym there, like with this wind, there's chances of camping up at the Trosks is not likely. Like, I think my tent's probably strong enough for it, but again, I wouldn't sleep very well. Now, I have a provisional backup, which is to go down into the Gorchin Quarry, but I've never camped in it, and I don't know if people camping in it, so I don't know if it's doable or not. So you could end up descending off the Trosks and then being scuppered there, in which case I'd probably end up looking for accommodation. And then Jim was telling me though that he knows of like a farmer's hut somewhere there, a fisherman's hut, because there's a fishing club for the Trosks, and there's Loch na Trosk just underneath. So there's a whole fishing, there's loads of wee lakes up there, so there's a whole fishing club. And he said like he knows of somebody that was camping there or using it or something like that, and there was no bother and no issues. So even if it was just somewhere to camp beside to get a bit of shelter. There's another hiker, oh my god. This place is getting inundated. So these wee tracks that you follow are not too bad. I'm noticing a few other wee way markers, but I think it might be a race that's on. And I wonder if that guy that I saw with the hiking poles, he looked like he was a competition person. But yes, you follow these little dirt trails. It can be easy to miss, but I don't know if you can see it coming out the other side there. There's kind of a wide sort of stretch, and it is boggy. Look at these wee markers. I doubt they're for the Moyle Way, but they might be for a race maybe. I need to watch my ankles and knees. So yeah, that's light coloured strip there. Takes you to the edge of the forest, but yeah, I remember it being really boggy, but who knows. I'm expecting my feet to get wet basically. I could well be speaking far too soon, but so far this has been lovely and dry. You can tell it gets boggy, but like so far I just need to watch my step just because of my knees, or my knee, left knee. Amazing. So I was just a wee older guy, I was just sitting there just enjoying the view, listening to his radio with his thermos flask. Oh yeah, I did speak too soon. I believe. Oh yes, I definitely did speak too soon. At least the surrounding grass areas are dry, so it's more possible to navigate the wetter bits. So he says, maybe that guy was actually the marker putter rider. That could be a theory as well. All these theories. Mad. Looking out of that forest and then see Troston, and I'd be going up around, not totally up to the top of Troston, but around the side of it, and then that takes you to the back of Glen Arif, and then I'll be down through Glen Arif, the upper part that a lot of people don't go to, and then the actual main Glen Arif forest, which will take me into Dungonnell, which is in my last video, but it's not been, I haven't published it yet, so it'll be the next one out, but it'll be after I finish this. But that sort of it was a good day to go out actually and party for the training again, just to feel like those 2 days out in the Garron Plateau just really helped with what I'm experiencing now. But also it was helping me eliminate certain route possibilities for this, because I don't want people to be climbing over barbed wire fences. So it was a bit of a research into the accessibility of my desired favoured route. And basically I couldn't do it. Like I think it ought to be, it should be. It's like in my head, it's like the right route, but you just end up climbing over fences, and I'm not promoting that at all. So, but it allowed me then to finalise it and come up with a different route that will cause no problems. This is a different kind of access issue.
Swampy. Very swampy. Oh Lord. Now I'm in an island in the middle of the swamp. So once again I have lucked out. So there are still really boggy places that even in dry weather are going to stay that way. But all the other stuff, that nearly the entirety of this is normally boggy and crap. So, and you can sort of see from like runners that use this, other hikers I'm sure as well, but like a lot of runners use this, and you see there where they've jumped off from, and you kind of, even though it looks like a kind of straight line, you end up doing this like jumping over to this side and then over about a metre and then back onto the other side to get the dry bit for a wee stretch and then back over and da-da-da-da-da. But I'm covering ground in this like so much quicker than anticipated. Wasn't looking forward to this wee stretch. Then my memory of it was tainted by other things. Remember the battle, not the bottle. Ooh, just check, actually had a wee bit of internet access there, so but I would not rely on it. It was like one bar thereabouts. So yeah, I would say you pretty much got no internet access probably through till maybe Glenarif, or when you're closer to Carnlough, so in that kind of area, I imagine. But I'll keep checking, just more for, not that I really need it, but more just for your information, to know what to expect. What is going on there? Jeepers, oh. Navigating all this madness. Oh, here, where do we, looks decent. Also, I'm terrible at jumping, and I'm the one that's most likely to end up in a ditch or half stuck in a bog. Jump and then weight it down. But oh, there's cool beetle. It's a biggie. You're a big one. Nice. Right now entering into the forest. Not that I think this trail in the forest is going to be a huge amount better, but like I say, I lucked out anyway, and my feet are actually still dry. But if I end up on top of the Garron Plateau, that's not going to stay that way for longer. Whoop. Whoop. Risk it for a biscuit. But I've been well trained from those days in the Garron Plateau. So looking forward to getting on the forestry tracks. That's what this trail will do. It'll give you all the experiences you need so that you'll actually be grateful for a forestry track. I would also suggest before you get onto that section is tighten up your shoelaces. I kind of wish I'd almost need a fancy stopping now and tightening them up. I'm terrible whenever I get going, I just don't want to stop. Finally over. All those sections just seem to take forever. They last way longer than you expect. But then you see this wee bridge, and that's you on the firmer ground. Oh, I think I am to go this way. I'll just double check the map first. Yeah, so left after the wee bridge. In fact, I know there's a water supply actually just before you get on the Trosks too. There's a wee river there. Oh, that's great, so we're going to actually fill up my water bag. I'd rather have the extra weight and plenty of water. Awesome spot, and starving as well, so I might actually try and find a wee sheltered spot, get the stove out and get some noodles on the go. But I want somewhere sheltered so I can relax. So this is just the end of that track out of the forest. Like International Appalachian Trail.
Why would you do that when you could do the Irish East Highland Way? So this is the bridge I got water at before. You go around a bend and it takes you to the access to Trosks. There's another wee river around there too, which is probably nicer, but I know I've got water from here before. And I remember last time the midges were awful, but it looks pretty decent. So I'll get water from there. I'll probably go for a pee in the woods and then find somewhere to have some noodles. So I don't have microphones on, so forgive me if there's wind noise. That's Trosks, which does look like a lump still, even minus the hangover. I want to see your boy that started running earlier, or not running but fast walking. So yeah, I got water from that river where the wee bridge is, but I noticed on one side it was a death trap trying to get water, and then the other side it was like, I realised there were two big animal feed bags in the river. So sort of I actually ended up collecting from the side that was in the flow of the animal feed bags because I didn't want to die trying to get water. Maybe if there's shelter it would be lovely just down by the river to cook up some noodles before I have to do Trosks. It's going to be a slog. But most slogs these days are things for me that have really looked awful. I feel like they're getting easier, more achievable. So that's the style there to get over, and then there's a wee bridge across the river, and then pretty much straight up. And I remember last time to be in a few way markers down. It's not all straight up, that first section is straight up. But you sort of make your way up and then across that way around the side. So you don't go up to the summit, but you are pretty much near the top. And that takes you around to the very back of the very upper part of Glenhesk. Probably being a bit silly, but I was trying to make my way towards this bridge. Hoping there's like a sheltered spot down by the river, which I doubt it. So I'm getting that point of Hank Marvin where I can feel a smidgen of irritability kicking in, so I can tell I'm sort of fatigued and can get cranky if I don't get some proper food into me. So, but the way the wind's blowing, I don't think that wee river valley is going to cut it. And certainly not up on the side or top of Trosks. It's nice though. You know what? I might actually, if I get hunker down in there, might be out of the wind, and the river's looking beaut compared to that other stinking. Oh, I could be on a winner here. Well, this feels like a sun trap. Right, that water's fresher, cleaner looking as well. It's a beautiful river. I'm happy with that. Just trying to find a small spot that's flat enough to actually sit on and get my stove out without setting fire to shit. It's all heather. I'm so bad for not stopping, but you're doing starting at 9:30 hiking. Well, I don't normally set off that early and hiking all day, so you're doing basically 8-9 hours walking. And yeah, once I'm in the hiking zone, I just have to remember I'm not doing what I normally do. I'm doing a multi-day and hiking for full days. So I absolutely need proper food, noodles, cheap noodles. And I'm going to get my shoes off, let my feet air out, and it actually is nice here out of the wind. Feel the heat of that sun, so I'm going to get my shoes off, socks off, let my feet air out. The bottom of my soles of my feet are kind of warm. They're not hot spots. It's not but they'll do. You could do with a wee cool off, basically. Possibly put on a fresh pair of socks. Right, and the key is to actually measure how much water I need for these noodles, instead of whacking a whole ton of water and having to add in extra noodles and then couldn't eat them all. And they were not enjoyable this morning. Even after heating them up, they weren't that enjoyable last night, to be honest. I don't know if that was from being too much water or whether just shit noodles. Oh, I so need these noodle ones.
says it all, Harley Speak. Still a bit of wind getting around here, but not as much. I'm going to be really exposed in Trosks, so I'll just get the head down. But once you're up over Trosks, you're into the back of Glenarth, into the forest, and it's all downhill through the woods. Still not easy going necessarily, because it's like again quite boggy, really undulating, so it's going to be a strain on the knee as well. So I just have to take care. So even though it's downhill, I'll be like, just take my time. Flattish. It's flat as it's going to get. 300 mil. In boiling water. And that's actually marked with 300 mil. Probably 4 noodles. Doesn't seem like that much, and then I suppose a lot of water evaporates too whenever you're boiling it up. Right, done a wee smidgen over 300 mil. This is beautiful, but because I'm like so dehydrated, tired, exhausted, it'll take me a wee while just to settle, get the noodles into me, get my shoes off, relax, set myself up for stage 2. But I feel like, yeah, once I get over Trosks, then that'll be an amazing feeling of accomplishment. And then essentially the only main challenge after that will be getting up Hollyland Top, which was up the other day. I think Trosks is going to be the harder of them. It's probably one of the main ascents actually in this entire hike. Probably it and Hollyland Top, maybe McQuillan's Mountain, formerly known as Agnew's Hill. So yeah, like it's a hilly walk, but not big massive mountains. Look, it is so nice. I am gonna actually put my feet in the water. Oh, that's squelchy. Wasn't as dry as I thought. As dry as it looked. Oh, I'd never do this, but it'd be nice to clean my feet and then freshen them off. Forgot about that part of it. But yes, cold therapy. Just gonna de-swell my feet. Foot bathing in the sun. Oh, it feels good to properly feel relaxed. As much as I love just hiking it out and covering ground, and I become reluctant to stop. Like this is nice. That's probably maybe a distrust that I'll be able to pick up the pace again after stopping. Worried that I'll get sluggish. But no, this is what I need. Oh, it's a gorgeous river. And it's nice to stop by beautiful things like this and actually really watch them and pay attention and really appreciate them. There's been a few grey wagtails flying about as well, this wee river. They know they've got a good river when they see one. So it's 3 o'clock now. So yeah, I would hope to be setting off here before 4. Ideally around 3:30 maybe. And I don't think it'll take that long to get up Trosks, and it's just one of those, just get your head down and get it done. So I'd reckon it'd be 45 minutes maybe. Down through Glenarth takes a fair wee while, but I have to remember that I'm not doing the other part of Glenarth, I'm just doing that top half and then into Dungonnell. So, am I pushing it, trying to get to the Trosks? Maybe, but I'd rather get there. The idea of getting there sounds amazing. To have like an easy walk into Carnlough the next day and get resupplied and maybe get a wee coffee somewhere, a wee treat. Sounds fantastic. So I do think I want to get to the Trosks. So even if it means like turning up at 8 o'clock or 9 or getting the head torch on, pitching in the dark or whatever. I don't think it's just that I put in too much water. I think it's actually they're just shit noodles, or I just don't like the taste of them. And I'm also not a chicken eater, so maybe I don't normally buy chicken flavour. Maybe I'm normally buy curry or chili or something. But nice to have warm food. That's nicer than my noodles this morning. Farewell, beautiful river. Thank you for your respite, for soothing me. Yep, Trosks is as remembered to a point, so it definitely is boggy. And I remember just coming up with that phrase, there's nothing worse than boggy than uphill and boggy, and that was for Trosks. Now, obviously the conditions I was in was not the same, and like what is boggy here so far has not been sodden wet. It's just, there's a bit of give in the soil underfoot, but none of it yet has been this surge of water squelch. Although I'm watching out for, I'm sure a few of those are, and as I get further up maybe it'll get worse. But these are definitely so yes, so far I have just done very, very well with the conditions. I just hope that I get up there, my knee's still in good nick, and I have some decent energy, and I feel, capable of getting to the Trosks. That would be fantastic. So I realise if I don't, like the next day would be longer and it'll be harder to pull this off in 5 days. But if I do get to the Trosks, that is a definite. And so far my knee's been okay. Any little feelings of tweaks in it have kind of like just eased themselves out. Oh, over here. But well, now we're on Trosks and boggy uphill and tufty and all over the place, so maybe that'll all change. Oh, here goes. And this water stop down below. Don't worry, there is a wee burn running down off Trosks. When you're coming up Trosks and you sort of feel like you're getting up to that last sort of part, the marker does say this way, but it seemed almost indicate like you'd stay on this side, and on a cloudy day or whiteout you wouldn't see that marker on the other side, over the other side of the river. So you obviously have to go down here, cross over, and then follow that up to the other marker. But yeah, in whiteout you wouldn't see that. You'd have to just go by apps or maps. Doon. I remember this is the marker that pissed me off. I felt like I'd fallen down, somebody put it back in the wrong way. Because you look at that sign, it's telling you to go here, but you don't, you go there. And actually see here we guys orange flags out. And that melted my head because I ended up following that. And then it was just horrible terrain. So yeah, like that marker is just shit. It should be turned around. And there's the proof that it is a shit marker, because there's the other one. And that other marker was pointing off totally in the other direction. And again, if it was white out, you wouldn't see that other one. There's two markers. And I'm hoping that it starts going off to the right and not further uphill. And saying that, like, I've not used my poles yet up here. But I have a feeling that's what happens here. Because you're not going up the summit, you're peeling off to the right at some point anyway. Skirting around the back of it. If so, I'll be delighted. I'll be like, what? Amazing. Amazing. It won't be long till I'm at the back of Glenarf. Not the last marker, but they've all flattened out. Amazing. You can see Slamish in the background there too. Right, after that fourth marker, I think I'll be looking down over Glenarf. Thereabouts. That'll be a welcome sight. The wind is blowing a hurley up here on top of Trosks, or not quite on top. So that's the last high marker. And then marks it to go off to the side, and there's actually then a stile behind me. Yeah. You sort of follow that around and takes you. You can sort of see that Glenarf, but it's not the Glenarf you know and love. It's the upper part. Not that it's not. It's just not, you know, the Queen of the Glens that everybody, the tourists, all go to see, and the waterfalls and all. But actually, it is actually still really lovely. But there's no lovely little trails like gorgeous wee neat trails for me to follow. So it'll still be hard going. When the going gets shit, keep her lit. When the going gets shit, keep her lit. Yeah, I feel like there should be a way, like a marker on that stile, and maybe there used to be, because it's not really clear what direction you go after the stile. And again, on a cloudy, misty day, you may not see that marker over there. So as you come over the stile, you're going sort of off diagonally at a sort of 20-degree angle. But yeah, if that was misty, you wouldn't even see it. So, yeah, maybe there was a marker, but little directional arrow, more to be precise. Right, arrived at the, well, not the top one, but the one where I can see the new view. So you can sort of see out the cliffs along the edge of Glenarf, which I think is maybe Crocavar is the name of the mountain up there. But you can see what most people think of as Glenarf Forest across there and then down into that valley. But this part here is also Glenarf, but it's like Glenarf Upper or something to call it. So I have to get through that, and it's pretty sizable. Like so whenever you get up to the corner, like there's a very definite corner when you arrive at the edge of the forest up there. But the signpost I don't think is that clear, but you're definitely going to the left at that corner, following basically. Not right beside the fence, you sort of go up a wee trail up over the wee knobbly bits. And then you get to this signpost here and then follow that down into the woods. Wow, I see people with rucksacks. What? I wonder if it's Duke of Ed. 1, 2, 3. Wow. It'll be like a feeling of solidarity and camaraderie as we pass each other and say hi. So don't get lured into that, because it's kind of the first real opening into the woods, and if you know you're aiming for the woods, you get sucked in there, and it's not the trail. You actually follow these kind of mounds around to the left here. So yeah, like that looks really inviting because it's a nice flat grassy trail in, and then this looks less inviting because it's tufty as fuck. When the terrain gets so bad, you're like, is this actually the trail? And you look at your map and you're like, yeah, it seems to be. And then you're like, actually have no clue. I just feel like that other entrance, the big wide one into the woods, may well have been it. I'm just going to confer with as many resources as possible and don't continue on that, because that was some of the worst terrain I've been on so far in this. Yeah, my feet were just like, right, phone a friend. Right, so come into the woods. It looks like I do have to go back to that big massive entrance that says come in, but I couldn't see any signs on it, and the map seemed to be telling me otherwise. Anyhow, that's my feeling right now. But walking in that terrain up there was just so bad for my feet. Any moment I'll wreck my knee. My ankles will be wrecked, so it's just so bad. So I've come into the woods and I'm going to try and see if it's easier going in here. So hopefully just keep on walking this, get to that big entrance, and then turn left and take me down to the Ballyeamon Road. Such a kick in the bollocks. It wasn't the big massive wide entrance, but it was in the corner there. And as soon as I was in that woods bit that I went through, I knew that I was so familiar with the type of woods. And in there gave me a wee reminder of like there's so many hidden like mosses growing over these like big ditches in between roots, and it's easy just to like stick your foot down a ravine or something. So that was a bit of a reminder of what I'm getting up to in here. So, and because of lost time, it'd be a temptation to sort of want to make ground and cover ground quicker and be faster, but that's just going to more likely lead to disaster. They were nice people there I met back there. They're just going for a wee overnight camp. So he asked me if I'm just going home now, and I was like, yeah, I'm walking home. A very long way, but they seemed, one of the guys there, he seemed pretty interested in the idea, the concept. Right, I better get a move on, but without hurrying. And it is gorgeous in here. It's like a mystical, elfish kind of like magical realm. Last time I was walking through here, it was all the red sickener mushrooms, I think it was. Oh, I see a wee orange flag. There we go. They're helping. Right, relieved to find the marker again. Relieved to be back on track, because once you're off track and the terrain is like that, it is like, oh, energy sapping. So maybe this will end up where I'll get the Dungonnell and that'll be it. I don't know. Right, we'll see. It's like actually the last time I was here, I've intentionally chosen to go in through the woods because it just was beautiful. But it looks like there's a straight trail right down the middle here, just going by those wee orange markers he's put down. Although I do remember this about the forest, that is boggy and as pretty and magical as it can be. And look, it is also stinking. Oh, I'm going to be covered in scrapes, scratches, bruises by the end of this trail. If I manage it. Oh. Feet are semi-dry, but won't be by the end of the tonight anyway. They'll definitely be gone. They will not be dry, especially if I do manage to get up Colin top in the Trosks. Yeah, this is mushy, but it's quicker going than in the woods. I'm going to say there's too many other hazards for my ankles and knees in there, so I'm taking this less scenic but practical way. Yeah, this is a gorgeous river that runs through here. So again, if you needed to filter water, that'll be a lovely source. It's beautiful there. Out of section 1. Just have to navigate this with the I'm gonna have to go side trail here. No chance I'm going on that. My feet are wet, but I don't want to get absolutely ridiculous. I might be able to jump that. We'll find out. Basically never jump, never let me jump. You'd have somebody with me at all times saying don't try and jump. But I did make that actually. Right, where the fuck are you now? Okay. So it says go straight ahead, but if you go straight ahead you'll just walk straight into the bog. And well, that's quite deep. So you have to actually go a wee left, straight at that sign that says to go ahead, and then turn right and then go ahead. Oh, aye, this is a gorgeous wee waterfall spot. Oh, aye, then you cross over, back over the river. Yes, this is a lovely wee waterfall. So this is actually the first marker I've seen in a tree. All the others have been on posts. But I've actually not seen that many through the woods. I think you'd just assume you'll follow through. I've actually been using those wee orienteer markers for the trail runners, whoever's doing that. That's helped me. And I don't know if there are more markers throughout the woods. or if you're meant to follow the river or the other trails. But yeah, it's one of those ones. I think if you were, at the minute I just want to do the most direct one, but you know, the elfish forest in there is like pretty magical, so if you're, as long as you pay attention to your footsteps. But even in this one, I'm having to pay attention to footsteps. It's all higgledy-piggledy and quite likely to cause an injury. So, but yeah, I think the other one's a wee bit more enchanting. But you do come along by the river here at certain sections as well, but because there's so many runners using it, it's like actually muddy as. Must get used quite a lot, but it's... Somebody lost a shot. I am busted. The likelihood of me getting up Colin top and across to the Trosks is minimal, I think, realistically. Okay, out of that woods, just at the end, got my feet totally soaked. It is definitely advisable to just pick your own trail. Some of those sections that are the actual Moyle Way have also been used by the runners, and they've just been churned up so much they're absolutely like inches deep in mud. There's that other lovely waterfall there. So yeah, actually finding your own wee way. The exit I was about to use was super much drier and nicer, and then I changed my mind, went back to the other main way and got my feet soaked. Oh, my feet are all over the place. This is Upper Glenarif. Nowhere near as many people come up here, few and far between. Most of them will be in the main Glenarif forest, where there's proper trails and all that. Really, I'm on this, but it's gorgeous. Like, if I wasn't absolutely busted, I would appreciate it more. It'd be lovely to camp up here, to be honest. Totally do not remember this wee boardwalk underneath the bridge. So yeah, I don't know if I missed a sign or just focused on the trail. It was like that I ended up going underneath that bridge, which I think the last time I went up over it. But never noticed that wee boardwalk bit. There's three lads there having their own wee rave. So I'm just going to double check. That's the gate just up there, but it saved me walking up there and checking. I'm just going to double check on the map, but I'm pretty sure this is the Dungonnell Way, which is exactly where I want to be, and it's as well it did. So yes, I forgot that actually it's at the gate where you see the wee sign that takes you off of the Dungonnell Way, which I think means you have to go across the bridge first, maybe, and then left. So I imagine that there's there must be a signpost that I missed because it was just in the zone, because there's markers up there in that post. And markers there, so, and I think there's a wee sign then that says Dungonnell Way, that direction. Yeah, well battered paper sign. That's cool bridge, good spot for a wee rave. Living the dream. Right, so this will bring me straight to the entrance of Glenarif that I want to get to, where I basically ended up on Friday. It'll take me straight to Dungonnell Reservoir, where I shall take my pack off and decide if I can actually get up to the top of Colin Top or not. It's 5:35. It's not massively late by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just my energy. I can invest in future me to a certain point, but there's a certain point at which it's like future me can go fuck himself. Just coming off that part of the trail, it opens all up, which is lovely. And there you go, Dungonnell Way, going this way. That's so nice.
So this is coming onto the main road, semi-dodgy style. Oi. Not the best. That'll do though. And this ground is awful whenever you've got warm feet from hiking since 9:30 in the morning. But I'm just glad it's quick going. Right, Dungonnell way. And then I think to the left there's a trail. In my imagination, just because when I got on the Dungonnell way, when it was within Glenarth, it was nice and flat and straight. So, but I hadn't done this bit of it, and I knew it was going to be straight pretty much, but it's uphill, flip's sake. Sorry, I'm not videoing much because I'm just grit and determination is getting me along here. Yeah, I just followed Dungonnell way along these kind of trails, and then these are the two, I don't know what you call them, bollards, that is the entrance to Dungonnell Reservoir, and I know that because I came up from there last Friday. So, at least get to Dungonnell. My route from Dungonnell is basically go left and it's all on tarmac. I'm basically going to walk out as much as I can just to see how far I get, and if God wills it, I will get on top of Colin Top, and if I can get on top of Colin Top, that should mean that I should be able to be buoyed up by the achievement, be able to get over to the Trosks. But yes, it's right now grit, determination, perseverance, resilience, and all of those things. Character building, dig down deep, all that malarkey. When the going gets shut, keep early. Coming to the end of the forest, and once you get out there, you're pretty much exposed. And the reality is, the way the wind's coming in from northeast, like everywhere is going to be exposed from here on in. So that might incentivize me to get up to Colin Top and over to the Trosks. I really, really want to. I just don't know if I have it in me to do it. But it was also nice as meeting Jim there on Sleeve-Nora, and him suggesting about the fisherman's hut. Now, I don't know if he's suggesting staying in it or just like using it for shelter so I can get a windbreak from a tent. But yeah, that sounds, good because I can't. It's cold and windy, so I don't want to stay up in the top of the mountains. But if I can dip down and get shelter somewhere like that. The other spot I had in mind was down in the quarry, but it's close to the town, and then it always gives you the heebie-jeebies a wee bit. But and I also have never camped there either, so it's not like I've had a reference from somebody saying here's not an option. So we'll see, but these wee trails are easy, so I'm going to take them as far as I can, and then down a load of water, camel up, and see if I can have another wee energy bar and try and get myself up there. I would almost consider if I could find a easier option but still get up there and over to the Trosks, I would take it and just put it as the official route is Colin Top, but if you're not up to it, leave it out. So yeah, you just follow this wee trail, takes you on the tarmac path that NI Water use for servicing Dungonnell Garron Reservoir, and then you take a left. And again, if you wanted to alter the route in some way and go around the dam or whatever, or if you decided to camp by the dam and you needed to go that way, work away. Wow, why was this so much wetter than it was last time? My goodness, I just got my feet totally soaked. This was totally pleasant the other day. Wow. It hasn't been that much rain, but obviously enough to change this.
Right, so that's the wee junction, and then we're going left. No longer on the Dungonnell Way, by the way. There's a sign for that there. It is coming up to 6:30. Where will I end up? So there's a gate back there, and you don't need to climb over it. Yeah, like I could have took my rucksack off. There's a wee sort of side bit you can slide through. But I didn't want to take my rucksack off, and the last time I did climb over it, and it's a super sturdy gate. It's not the kind of gate you're going to damage like climbing over it, but it looks like somebody's put grease all along the top of it, and it's just that it was evenly distributed right along the top. I was like, somebody's actually put that there to discourage people from climbing over, but I like whatever. So I'm looking at the route I went the last time to Carnlough, and I'm wondering if it'd be best just head it straight up. Whereas I kind of took the longer way off for a gentle incline on tarmac and then onto the off-road bit. But like I stayed on the tarmac partly as well. I was just really cautious about sort of ground nesting and birds and all, but I ended up on tracks that were basically all quad tracks essentially, the farmers have used. So if I see one obvious one going up that way, I might just hit that. Also, it's actually not as well, I'll speak too soon maybe because I could turn a corner, it would change, but it's not as exposed right here right now as I thought it was going to be. The way I scouted the other day was basically just further around the bend here, and then you're heading for those wee outcrops at the top there, coming out from a different angle, and you're heading for that furthest outcrop you can see there. But from what I could see, it was the kind of least incline and less slopey, and there was pretty much sort of quad tracks for most of it. It looks like I'm going to try and do this. Just big down deep. Basically get as much height as possible from the tarmac. Easy walking. But you can choose to do otherwise and bounce up there at any point. Cracking view there. I'm just stopping to fill up my water bottle. But you can see Scotland really clearly in the distance there. Stunning. Yeah, you can definitely feel the wind the higher I get up here. So it looks like I'm going to aim for head to Big Trosk, Little Trosk, and then down the Loch na Trosk, and hopefully find a wee fisherman's hut that's going to give me some shelter. This is the kind of tracks that I'm following. That'll take me on to the second outcrop, and then there's a wee lake on the other side of that too. Broken but not defeated. I don't know how I'm still going, like, but I think just the concept of getting basically the fringe of Carnlough for a nice easy morning, walking down into Carnlough and then walking around to Glenarm before taking on the Antrim Hills Way. It just sounds so much better than having to do these and then get down to Carnlough, do that and do the Antrim Hills Way. So yeah, that is just pushing me. That's one of the things that's pushing me, and just makes far more sense timing wise, and just to connect up to all the wee camping spots and all that stuff. So every strength. I just saw a fox run up there. We just saved some larks from destruction. We're going to be heading over to that outcrop there. Gorgeous wee view. This is absolutely gorgeous up here. Like, it was a calm night, actually, just camping on top of this wee outcrop would be sweet. It's lovely. I think that's Loch na Garv, I think you call it. And I'm heading over to that wee outcrop there. And then, I don't know if you can make out the sort of trail takes you up to the top of Carnlough, which is that one. The wee dinky cairn on the top, if I so make it. But then the idea is then to get right across the ridge all the way over here. So this may be really ludicrous. Coming up to the fence. Not nice walking. The feet are totally soaked. Went in there very, very deep bog. But I'm gunning for it. While I've been walking, even though I'm exhausted, I think it'll be easier for me to get up there now with the momentum that I have than starting doing that tomorrow. That's another probably stupid thought in my brain at the minute. Just need to follow that fence to the top of Carnlough. That's not the end, but I'm hoping that at the minute on this side of Carnlough it seems unachievable, unattainable. But I feel like when I get to the top of Carnlough, which will hopefully take me like 45 minutes max, possibly half an hour. I know I stopped about 4 times last time I went up it, but yeah. 7:10, I'm hoping by 8 o'clock I'll be on the top of Carnlough, and then with buying an hour to take me over to the Trosks and then down to Loch Trosk. I will be absolutely in pieces, exhausted. We'll have to put up my tent, cook food, get water, all that. But yeah, the thought of being there and having achieved that would be unbelievable. I'll have walked for 12 hours. Solid. Well, 1 hour probably of stoppages, but I pretty much 12 hours of walking, hiking. And it didn't be easy hiking the whole time either. I made it to the top of Carnlough. Can't believe it. I was actually crunching out the very lower sections. There was only that last steep section where it was down to like 0.2 miles an hour. But I'm here and it's 7:30, so it's actually better time than anticipated. But I think the walk to the Trosks looks more arduous than in my imagination. Way looks like quite a bit of distance to the lakes are. Oh god, the view from up here is amazing. It's just lovely light overnight. Got no real option anyway, so I'll have to make it over there, and hopefully 45 minutes or so we'll be on top of that last rise looking down on those lakes. And even if I don't get up the top of the Trosks but get to those lakes, that's all that really matters, I think. Oh, here goes. It's not over yet. Sorry, I got no microphones on. That's a stile I'm going to cross. The left hand side of that fence, there's an area marked on maps as a dangerous walking area. I'm going to stay on the other side, and if there's a stile there, which is unheard of in this part of the world, in this very specific part of the world, I think it's there for a purpose. That'll take me onto the high ground, and then I think it's on this slightly, well, downhill basically towards the lakes. So hopefully that's the case. There's another stile about halfway down from Carnlough as well, but I didn't know that wasn't in the right direction for me, but and now I've seen this, I'm like, yeah, that's the trail I'm going to take. Oh my goodness, it's freezing. That wind is just, as that sun goes down there, it's just getting colder and colder, and the wind is picking up. Just get me somewhere where I can camp. I don't care if it's getting to the Trosks or just somewhere sheltered. Oh my goodness. Woo! I didn't make it to my ideal location, and I still haven't found a place to camp. But I am closer to Carnlough. It's like 9 o'clock after 9. I've walked for 12 hours, just short of that. I'm down here, and actually the Trosks are just there, but I reckon if I camp here I wouldn't even bother going over tomorrow. I'm going to be absolutely busted tomorrow. It's definitely more sheltered here, but it's not, there's not really a spots for camping, but compared to up there where it's like 30, feels like over 30-mile-an-hour winds, and there's freezing as well. Need to find something. So I'm going to try and get the tent in there. Tiny space, it's not flat, but at the minute it feels like survival. On the upside, that is the view for now, and not that I'll see it for very long, but and then sunrise in the east. But
Hopefully this wee spot works. It's so bad, but it is sheltered, and I need the shelter, and I need not that cold wind. Oh, I need to breathe and relax. It's been some day. Other than the view, this is the most ridiculous pitch ever. It's at such an angle, but and the ground seat isn't even touching the floor. But I climbed in there, and my head is up this way here. It's basically sloping this way. Yeah, that's mental, but I'm just going to work with it because I just need my feet dried. I need food, water and sleep. Just glad to have a shelter up. It was getting to that point of feeling like really up against it and felt like survival mode. Drying my feet off. They've been wet for hours and hours and hours. And I'm sure they're going to be mangled. But whilst looking out over a nice view of Carnlough, at least that's cheering me up. Oh, I can actually see the Andermatt Hills Way from here, and I can see McQuillan Mountain, formerly known as Agnews Hill. Will I do this tomorrow? How tough am I? Not very. Yeah, I reckon like you could do this as a 5-day hike and it makes sense, but just as far as logistics of camping spots and blah 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 go, but I think you really need to be very fit. On some of those sections, especially that Garron Plateau, I think you need to have some mountain experience. But I suppose all trails, like even the Camino and all, there's always like days or weeks where it's the hardship kind of part where you just get your head down and it has some spiritual benefit. So maybe that's what this is. And as ridiculous as this camping spot is, as in like pitch, I'll be sliding right up into this part of the tent all night. Probably won't sleep, but I'm so thankful for this because on top of those hills there, and I couldn't find anywhere, and it was 30-mile-an-hour winds. It felt like -5 wind chill. My fingers were freezing. It was just hard going. And then just following instincts more than anything. Just saw some rocks and sort of stuff on the other side of them, essentially, like. And at first it was just like not enough space. It was just like a wee trail on the other side, and then it opened up here. But just to get out of that wind, that was survival. That was not. So I'll just live with this pitch. But oh my goodness, the views are just definitely redemptive. But I'm just trying to decide whether I'm just going to literally try and just go to sleep now or have a cup of tea and a smoke and unwind after that first.